Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Nancy Drew Mobile Mysteries Shadow Ranch. We have a sonnet written by William Shakespeare, which is our clue to Dirk's treasure. The message is Cliff House, far room, northwest corner. How did you figure it out? George demands. Oh, that wasn't a very demanding voice. Let's try that again. How did you figure it out? George demands. That's a lot more demanding. Well, each letter in the message is represented by a double-digit number. The first digit refers to the line of the sonnet which contains the letter, while the second digit tells you the position of the letter in that line. Reading from left to right and not counting blank spaces. You are a genius! George cries, raising her palm for a high five. Other noted geniuses: Da Vinci, Einstein, Hypatia, Mademoiselle Curie. Only if she also knows how to get to this cliff-dwelling place, Bess observes glumly. I've been there, Dave offers. Nancy stands up, pulls out her compass, and gets her bearings. According to the map in the barn, the cliff house should be right over... She points to a distant ridge. There! Right, Dave? Right on the money, Dave grins. Then come on, let's go, exhorts Bess. 5 seconds later, she's atop her horse. Wow, 5 seconds. Wow! How close was she to her horse? I thought they were inside. Anyway, 5 seconds later, she's on top of her horse and she's ready to go. Consulting her compass, Nancy and company head for the ridge. Dave points out traces of a faint trail. Maybe this is the very same trail Dirk Valentine took, Bess posits, her eyes glowing. Just think, he was about to find the treasure... He was about to hide the treasure that we're about to find. Don't count your chickens just yet, her cousin warns. George has a very manly voice because earlier on in this chapter, we learned that George is in fact a boy because they used the word he to describe George. An understandable mistake, but I kind of like doing this deep manly voice for George. Don't count your chickens just yet, George warns. She points to something in the sky over their heads. And you'd better hope that's not a bad omen. The turkey vulture is soaring directly above them, making a wide, lazy circle in the mid-morning air. An hour later, the group is still following the faint trail as it winds around a ridge into a valley. A band of greenery suggests the presence of stream. What do you say we stop here and have some lunch? Bess suggests, eyeing her full saddlebag. We could do that, Nancy says, scanning the surroundings. But I think maybe we should check that out first. What is she talking about? The cliff house. She points towards the cliff looming above them. Under the brow is a broad cavern filled with a patchwork of walls, windows, and doorways, cut out of the sandstone centuries before. Wow, murmurs George. So that's the cliff house. When do you think it was made? 600 or 700 years ago, Dave responds. From what I've read, nobody is quite sure by whom or why cliff dwellings like these were abandoned. Who cares? Cries Bess impatiently as she dismounts. Dirk's treasure is up there. Let's go. After watering their horses and tying them to the sturdiest trees available, the foursome make their way to the base of the cliff, shovels in hand. They find a crude stairway carved out of the rock centuries before. Cautious but eager, they start to climb. The cavern greets them with a breeze of cool, refreshing air. The far room ought to be through there, Nancy says, pointing to a large doorway. Inside, a choice of several smaller doors face the group. There could be a bajillion rooms in this place, Bess worries. What if we get lost? We'll be fine, Nancy assures her. We can do this. Come on. Alright, everybody, so we have this maze here, and we are here in the room with the X? No, we are in the red room. Okay, so basically just move around, and you will eventually be able to figure out the pathway which leads to the room with the X. I'm sure I can figure out this puzzle. That's not it. Up. Down, okay, up left, up, right, up, left, left, Left. Ooh, I'm close. Left. Up. All right. That was really, really simple. Finally, the group reaches the farthest room in the vast cliff dwelling, but a gaping chasm in the rock floor blocks their path. George peers over the edge and an updraft of hot air blasts her face. Yeah, see, we have this huge gap. Can they jump the gap themselves? It's 100 foot straight down! Oh, that's not George, that's Dave. It's 100 foot straight down, Dave observes. Good thing this is here. Nancy lifts a long wooden plank. This plank right over here in the picture. Other explorers must have left it. She places it across the chasm. One by one, careful not to look down, the girls walk across the board and enter the room. Dave takes a deep breath and hurries across the board to join them. They locate the northwest corner and start digging. About 2 feet down, Nancy cries out suddenly. Wait! Stop! From the pile of dirt beside the hole, Nancy digs out a small brown pouch. Oh my gosh, we almost missed it, Bess moans. Nancy opens the pouch, then turns it over gently and shakes out its contents. A necklace falls into her palm. The girls stare at it in wonder. It's a solid gold chain from which dangles a huge, deep green emerald. And I found the emerald collectible. It must have cost Dirk everything he had ever stolen. I'm not entirely sure I want to go on here. Well, there's going to be a cliffhanger here, so, I think I'll read to the cliffhanger and then stop, okay? It must have cost Dirk everything he'd ever stolen to have this made, Nancy marvels. And poor Francis never even knew it existed. Suddenly, they hear a scraping noise, and then a culprit appears, but you guys don't know who the culprit is. The culprit appears and demands that they give her the necklace. Oh, great, I just told you the gender of the culprit. Okay, fine. It's Suzanne. They turn with a start and see Suzanne Lemaire standing in the entranceway. The wooden board no longer lies across the chasm, but at her feet. Suzanne laughs evilly. I've got you now, my little detectives. Will Nancy and her friends be able to escape from the evil Suzanne? Find out next time in Nancy Drew Mobile Mysteries Shadow Ranch.